Hey beautiful people, welcome. My name is Tara and I'm sharing my lock journey with you guys. And from a previous video I mentioned that I'm actually reaching my 5-year anniversary of having these locks, and I'm so grateful and happy that I started my locks again for so many different reasons. I will get into that one day, maybe in another video, but this video is it's like a free flow kind of video. I actually didn't plan on making a video at all, but I think a few things happened recently. 3 times something similar happened recently, and I'm the kind of person, if something happens 3 times, for me this is like a synchronicity, not warning, but indication that I need to take note on something. And it could be a little bit of a rant, so I warn you in advance. I'm going to try and keep it positive as always, but I'm just going with the flow to make this video and share my thoughts on this. And this is actually an invitation for you guys to share your thoughts on this situation, and if anything has come up for you on your lock journey where you've experienced something similar. So let me start off by just telling you a very simple kind of experience that I had a long time ago, where I was talking to a lady on the street. She stopped me and we started talking about natural hair, because that's something that I think is a beautiful thing to share, even if it's someone you just meet on the street for the first time. There have been many times where I've met people just based on natural hair, and I love this. So she stopped me, and she had beautiful, healthy, gorgeous locks, and they were about I'd say just underneath the shoulders, so around this length. And we were talking about our lock journey. So we got talking and I was asking her different questions, and one of the questions I think is quite natural to ask is, how long have you been locking? And she said she's been locking for 20 years. And for me that was like, okay, that's cool, you know? But then she started to tell me that even though she really loves having locks, a lot of people look at her really weird when she says she's been locking for 20 years, because her locks are that length. And it doesn't matter that she has healthy locks, it doesn't matter how she takes care of her locks. The minute she tells somebody that she's growing her locks for 20 years and she has this length, then the judgment came, and she can actually see it on people's faces. And this made me really sad, you guys. It made me so sad to see that, because it also reminded me of another time where I was talking to a lady, and similar to her, her locks were slightly longer and she'd been locking for I think 12 years. But then she went on to tell me and share her lock story that she had cancer at one point, and she lost all her locks and had to restart them. And for her it was even a challenge just to have that length, you know, and actually to have healthy hair in the first place, you know, because of all the things that her body was put through when she had her cancer treatments, etc. But she also said that she had a lot of judgments, that after 12 years she had locks up to here, and you know, people expected her to have longer locks. So it got me thinking about my own experiences very recently, and as I reached the 5-year mark, I have quite long locks, and many people look at me funny when I say I've been locking with these set of locks for 5 years, because yeah, they are quite long. They are quite long, as you can see, they're long. But what people don't realize is that I started my lock journey with long locks. You know, I didn't start this set of locks with short hair. And the same, I think, yeah, the first time around, I also started with quite a lot of hair. So when I combed out my first set of locks, I actually had hair up to here. And when I had my first set of locks put in place, it was already shoulder length. So really speaking, for 5 years, I'd say, let me see, that for 5 years, I've been growing that amount. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. So my 5-year growth would actually be that amount. It wouldn't be this amount. This was already kind of in place as my starter locks. And this is my 5-year lock growth. But for many people, that doesn't matter. As soon as you say that you've been locking for 5 years, everything else doesn't matter. They seem to focus on the fact that your length is a certain way, or their expectations about how your locks should be. And this is the thing I wanted to ask you guys. I wanted to ask you guys, how important is length to you guys? Because I'll be honest, on a little bit of a confession, when I met that lady ages ago who told me she'd been locking for a long period of time, when I think the first time I met the lady and she told me that, I was like, okay, something in the back of my mind kind of did say, oh, I wonder why her locks aren't longer. But it didn't make me feel like her locks were any less or any better, or I didn't have that kind of judgment. But I realized in the natural hair community in general, length is a big factor. A lot of people focus so much on having long locks, on having long natural hair, and not realizing that the journey has so many different factors involved with it. For example, everyone is different. Everyone's rate of growth in terms of hair is completely different. Some people might even see it as an achievement to have locks a certain length because of maybe just naturally their hair doesn't grow that long, or maybe due to illness, for example, such as that lady I mentioned who had cancer, who had a real battle to have healthy long locks at that length. So we just don't know the story of everybody, and seeing that there's been so many people that I've met who have been judged a lot on their hair, mainly because of the length and the expectations that come with the length and the amount of years that they've locked. It just makes me a little bit sad, and it makes me reflect a lot on how important length is to me, and also how important length should be, because actually I don't think length should matter. The main important thing that matters is that you have healthy locks. And I said this in another video as well, length is not an issue. Length comes, if it doesn't, it shouldn't matter. What matters is actually focusing on how healthy you are as a person, how healthy your locks are, and how your locks are an expression of you, regardless of how long your locks are. So it doesn't matter if you've been growing your locks for many, many years and you only achieve a certain length, that's great, but are your locks healthy? That's the first thing I would always ask. And also, if I meet somebody and they've been telling me they've locked for a certain amount of time and their length of locks are not as expected, for example, not as long as they should be, I don't think this should be a factor or something to judge another person on. Yeah, I hope I made some sense. As I said, this is not really a planned video. This was just something that I want to share as a reflection point. I don't even want to edit this video that much. I just want to be raw and real with you guys, because for me, I like to share the ups and downs of the lock journey and the holistic lifestyle, trying to go on a much more deeper level of what it means to lead a holistic and healthy lifestyle, and that includes having healthy hair, having healthy locks, and sharing those experiences that come on the way. So this was one of the challenges that has definitely come up with me during my 5 years of having locks. People judging on length. People assuming certain things on the length of my locks just because they're a certain way, and also the comparison that they have with my length versus their length. I think this is something that's important to talk about, and I would love to hear from you guys. So I put it out there for you guys. How important is length to you? Do you judge on length? And you can be as honest as you like on this. And has anyone judged you based on the length of your locks and the amount of time that you've locked? Please leave your comments below. And as I said, I try to keep this as positive as possible. I hope I'm making sense. And I always like to share my reflections along the way. So stay tuned for another video. Feel free to subscribe if you like my videos. I want to keep updated. And I will be back soon with another random topic or some tips as well. So thanks for taking the time to watch. I look forward to hearing your opinions and your experiences, and I will be back soon. Take care. Salam.